Welcome to The Deciding Point, our Cracked Racquets weekly roundup of the biggest storylines going on throughout the professional tennis world. Was another busy week of action. We had 2 ATP 500 level events, 2 WTA level events, our first American Challenger of the year. Joining me to break it all down on today's show will be our Cracked Racquets Do Everything James Foster McDonald. Of course, we've also got Miami on the horizon this week. We talk about that. And then our deciding point, is Aslan Karatsev the greatest of all time? With that in mind, Westhoff, let's get to our topic. All right, Jamie, well, we're going to save the entire ATP Challenger breakdown for a GSP later this week. I do want to talk about this past week's Cleveland Challenger because it was the first Challenger in the States here in 2021. Also, I had the chance to attend the event in person, and anytime we have the opportunity to do that, we want to talk about it a little bit here on the show. You look for the first American Challenger of the year, all Americans pretty much dominating the action. You look in our final, it was Bjorn Fratangelo knocking off young Jenson Brooksby. Now, for the 20-year-old Brooksby, it's his second Challenger final in the past month. He's into the top 250 now of the rankings. Clearly a step forward for him. For Bjorn Fratangelo, how good do you feel for him given all the injuries he has dealt with off the court as well? Of course, there were runs from guys like Alex Kovacevic, the current senior at Illinois, former USC standout Emilio Gomez. Really fun week of action. Your takeaways from the event before I dominate this segment for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, I feel like I could let you just steamroll through me here. But no, look, this was a really fun event. And like you mentioned, it's so fun to see this clash. First of all, it's on American soil. It's fun to see the American young guys in the same draw as potentially some older guys coming back from injury like Fratangelo, also some current college players. It's just a really fun mix of competitors that you get to see in a draw like this. And that final from Brooksby and Fratangelo didn't disappoint. I really enjoyed that, but it would be irresponsible of me to take the lead on that given that you were there. So I'll hand it over. Don't hold back.
Well, I'm fascinated to hear what you think of Jenson Brooksby because I have a lot of Jamie McDonald similar vibes when I watch him play. Just the way he hits that backhand slice, the two hands, he kind of like drives through it. It's very unconventional. When I think unconventional, for some reason, I think of you, Jamie, or just like your tennis game now.
For some reason, no.
Yeah, for some reason.
Look, I love watching him because he'll just grind it out from the back.
Exactly.
He'll torture people by the fact that like, oh, look, I'm not going to make the first move. You're going to have to push me, and as soon as you push me to the outer third, you're in trouble. And so I love that sort of mind game that he plays. But look, as he's developed as a player, obviously he's going to have to get more comfortable switching up the rhythm and taking the initiative a bit more. I felt like a lot of times he was just put on his heels and wasn't able to quite make up the ground, especially this being an indoor tournament. But no, he's a really, really fun player to watch, and so I am really excited to see him develop over the next few years.
That was an exceptional breakdown. That's why you got to take the lead. To your point, give him 3 years to fill out his frame. He's like suddenly 6'2", 6'3", 6'3 and a half, and he's growing into his body still. Yeah, that serve leaves a lot to be desired, but he's 20 years old, and when you're telling a player the thing you need to work on most is your serve, that's a great place to be, and you nailed it. He is as steady as they come, but the moment you get him into the outer thirds, now you're playing his ball game. That's where he wants to be, and unfortunately in the finals for him, he just ran out of legs, and again, that's what happens to a 20-year-old. But also, have to give a credit to Bjorn Fratangelo, who he's just a rock. Like, he just is so freaking good. It's unbelievable to me that he's not a top 100 player, because when I watch him play, I think the backhand's a little flat, fine, but I watch him play and I think there's a guy with no weaknesses. And it's just, can he stay healthy for an extended period? Because if he can, he's a top 115 guy, and then, getting from top 115 to the top 100 is almost luck.
Yeah, and look, hey, I'm partial to watching him too because he's not afraid of hitting that backhand slice. He hit quite a few good ones in the match, so always fun for me to see. But no, as you mentioned at the top of this, great to see an injury-free Fratangelo back on the court for sure.
100%. I do just want to quickly mention, having had the chance to talk to all of these players, there's definitely some growing unrest about all of the different hoops you have to jump through, particularly going country from country, place to place, all of the various COVID testing procedures you have to hop through to be put in the bubble. It's not fun for these players. And certainly the challenger lifestyle has never been glamorous. You add this on top of it, you can tell these players are growing particularly weary, and it would just be great. And, like they did in Italy with the Biella 1, 2, 3, 4 challengers, St. Petersburg, they had a couple in a row. Can we just get 4 in a row in the U.S.? Can we get, in Florida, it's the wild, wild west, right? You'd think Orlando would be like, yeah, sure, we'll host 4 in a row. We might as well do it. It just feels like getting the players in one location for an extended period of time is just what it's going to have to be. And the question is, do any of these facilities, any of these interests in the states have the ability to do that? Certainly that is what these players are looking for. And again, we all understand we're playing in a pandemic. There are going to have to be concessions from everyone. But there's definitely some growing frustration. That being said, you could see these players, particularly the Americans, were very happy to be competing on home soil once again.